Not a day goes by where we don't get any new information on the New Jersey drone situation, where we don't get new fascinating footage, and where we don't get new interesting theories what those things could be. In this video, let's go through a fascinating theory that Dr. Stephen Greer has put forth recently on an interview. A theory that I find quite interesting, and we shall analyze it and think about it if such a thing is even possible, or if it makes any sense whatsoever. Hello friends, welcome to Chasm. I'm Sebastian, so let's start. So the interview in question is by Fly on the Wall with Dana Carvey and David Spade. Go check out their channel and leave a like, and we will listen to portions of what Dr. Stephen Greer has to say. He was championing the Disclosure Project for a long time. He's been fighting on the forefront of disclosing that Earth has been visited by extraterrestrial beings, right? And what Stephen Greer has to say goes beyond that, because he basically says quite fascinating stuff. So let's have a listen.
Orbs, people are seeing these orb-like things.
Yeah,
those aren't extraterrestrial either. 100% of it's man-made, and we can unpack that. Then this is a huge problem, because this is going to happen during this transition before the next president comes in. I've been, doing kind of shuttle briefings from London to the incoming presidential team and the existing leaders at the Senate Intelligence and Armed Services Committee. So I've just been going flat out, for the last few months, because we've known about this for some time. Now, this last flurry of all this activity, there are various reasons I think are being given inside out of Peterson Air Force Base and a couple other operational facilities, that these drones are part of a black budget project because they're sniffing out potentially a dangerous weapon that's gone loose or something like that. Mm-hmm. Now, I've heard that from several very good, highly placed folks in the intelligence community. That could also be a misdirect to create panic and concern. But I do know that this is very serious. It's not just people misidentifying small aircraft. And these actually are part of a covert rogue military and corporate organization that I've been blowing the whistle on for 30 years. In fact, the way I knew this operation was illegal was when I briefed President Clinton's first CIA director on the matter, and on December 13th, 1993. So it's 31 years ago this past week.
Okay, so just to recapitulate what he's saying, he's basically saying that those orbs, even and those objects in the sky that display some capabilities that go far beyond the technology that we currently possess, okay? The capability to accelerate instantaneously, to do insane maneuvers, like even these orbs, he's basically saying that even those craft, right, where we would say, hey, this kind of doesn't look like any earthly technology, he says it is actually a splinter group within the US government, a kind of like a rogue group that has basically gotten hold of such technologies, which I assume are extraterrestrial reverse engineer technologies, and they have now built their own craft which are capable of insanely advanced technological feats, and that they are launching these orbs, these objects, whatever you want to call them, for nefarious reasons. And maybe we will find out what those reasons are.
And he and the president had no access or knowledge of these programs. And remember, my uncle and other people I knew worked Northrop Grumman and these Lockheed Skunk Works programs, and I had all the evidence already in 1993. And so at that point, we did conclude that the operations dealing with this subject, even though it's the butt of a lot of jokes and whatnot, little green man, haha, that is actually being run very secretively, but also illegally, without the oversight of the Congress or the president. Now, there are people embedded in the White House, National Security Council, Congress, who are operatives, who actually are there to gaslight and deceive the senior members of the Senate and the House. But for the most part, it has gone unsupervised since about 1957 to 1959, when this organization decided to tell Eisenhower and his folks to go jump in the lake. And they took all these projects deep black, meaning illegal. And there is a legal budget of the United States. It's the black budget that only the president and a handful of senators and congressmen see. But this is beyond that. That's beyond their oversight and supervision. So you can imagine how dangerous that is. And we're not talking a trivial amount of money. I'd say since the late 50s, 60s, somewhere on the order of $8 to $10 trillion have gone into those kind of projects from various agencies and departments. So, I mean, we're talking, what's that, a third of our national debt. But the other problem, and this is the biggest one, I just might as well drop this bomb at the beginning.
Absolutely.
No, I haven't started
no
yet.
No pun
bro.
intended.
Yeah, bro, I ain't started yet. So what has happened is that if you can visualize 75 years of some of the most brilliant scientists and engineers on planet Earth, who sometimes identify in high school, college, postgrad, are pulled into these covert programs to study the extraterrestrial material, meaning the craft, the technologies, and what have you. By late 1950s, there were operational man-made UFOs that were anti-grav type devices. And we have schematics of them, we have images of them.
What? Okay, he's basically saying that by the late 1950s, okay? By the late 50s, 1958, 59, some groups within the US government, within the US military, had achieved to reverse engineer extraterrestrial craft, I assume that were brought down or had crashed, maybe in Roswell in 1947. And that because they funneled a lot of taxpayer funds illegally to some super secretive black budget programs, and that in those black budget programs they took in the most brilliant scientists of their time and most brilliant engineers of their time, who then managed to reverse engineer those crashed UFOs and find out how they work, find out their propulsion method, which I assume is something that goes beyond our current understanding of physics, possibly involving some sort of like space-time metric distortion, electromagnetic drives, electromagnetic propulsion, I don't know, some unknown interaction between electromagnetism and space-time gravity, and that they managed to reverse engineer these craft, and that by the late 50s, the US basically, or this rogue group, this splinter group within the US, had UFOs of their own. That is an interesting claim. Let's just put it like this. That is a very interesting claim. But let's continue listening.
Of them. And people often will see those and think it's alien. I go, oh, no, it didn't. My uncle's company, Northrop Grumman, built that one, the Triangle, right? Or Raytheon or Lockheed Skunk Works.
Okay, so the triangle, right? The famous triangle. Okay, just for you people who are not so much into like UFO lore. This is the black triangle, guys. And he's basically saying that this black triangle, which was seen, which was reported, for instance, in 1990, I think in 1989, from 1989 to 1990 over Belgium, over northern Germany, in parts of the southeast UK, if I'm not mistaken, in northeastern France, in that area. A lot of these craft were actually reported that match this description. We have even photos. I think there are photos. Let's have a look. Okay, this is a real photo of the craft taken in 1990. Okay? We have others. This is actually deemed one of the best UFO photos in history. Friends, this is deemed one of the best UFO photos in history. It has been analyzed by photographic experts in the early 90s. Okay, this was taken, I think, in 1990 over Belgium. There was a wave of sightings in that year in that area, Belgium, northern Germany, and so on. And this is one of the best photos, one of the best UFO photos of all time. And you can see, if you enhance contrast, you can see this craft rotating. And by rotating, you can see the lights here are smeared, okay? Because of the rotationary motion and because of the exposure of the camera. Because remember, back in those days, people didn't have like these things here, right? So they had cameras, and due to the exposure, it looks like smeared. But it's because the craft was rotating. And this is deemed one of the best photos ever. So anyways, what Dr. Stephen Greer is now saying, he's now saying that this triangle, this black triangle, was freaking built by Northrop Grumman. Okay? He's basically saying, no, this is not an extraterrestrial craft. This object, by the way, it was pretty large. It was described as being like, I don't know, dozens of meters stretching to each side. Like, we're talking a big thing, like 20, 30, 40 meters in diameter. Pretty large, okay? Pretty large. Moving silently, hovering in the air, having the capability to instantaneously accelerate away at insane speeds. And he's basically saying, oh, this is not extraterrestrial technology, friends. This was built by Northrop Grumman or by Raytheon. And that these companies, I assume Lockheed, I heard a few times that Lockheed supposedly also has in possession parts or intact extraterrestrial craft, and that they have managed to reverse engineer this, and that they have now their own craft. Like, many of you also will know the TR-3B legend, right? The TR-3B, yeah, you will see the black triangle UFO, right? The black triangle here, I don't know, this is a rendering. This is a rendering, and it basically looks like this black triangle that we've seen before. So the funny thing is that now some people think that those companies have managed to build such insanely advanced craft. These are the same companies, by the way, that build, okay? That build the solid... Northrop Grumman builds the solid rocket boosters of NASA's Space Launch System rocket, okay? Just so that you know what's going on. And Lockheed, together with Boeing, they form the United Launch Alliance. And he's basically saying that those companies that are barely capable of assembling this, let's say, not quite up-to-date technology, where SpaceX has already hardware that is capable of much more incredible feats, that those companies that are barely capable of building something like this, always needing a lot longer to build it, way over budget, way over time, that these same companies have craft that defy the laws of physics. That's basically what he's saying. Like, let's continue, because it will get even better.
So now we get this. Now go forward 75 years and that kind of money and brain power studying this kind of material. And you have some technologies that are in the hands of these rogue and criminal elements, there's no other way to word it, that are way beyond the power of, say, a thermonuclear weapon or something like that, because you're dealing with being able to move across space-time at multiples of the speed of light, all kinds of advanced tech. And those can be used in what are called deceptive indications and warnings, or false flag operations. So some of what you see with this sort of phenomenon, occasionally it will be actually what they call NHI, or non-human intelligence. I'd say 80-90% of the time it's ours, but very advanced. Now, some of it's clunky, like our old-fashioned drones with rotors, and some of them are loud that have been reported because they have regular conventional engines. There's some of the objects that have been put up over some of these sites in their military installations are not so prosaic, and they're advanced. And this is why some members of Congress and even people in the Pentagon think, oh, well, maybe it's an adversary, or maybe it's from outer space. It isn't. It's all from this rogue group, because they have technologies that at this point in 2024 would almost be indistinguishable from an actual extraterrestrial vehicle. Not quite, but very advanced.
Wow. I don't exactly know what to say here. I find the theory highly, let's say it like this, okay? Let's put it like this. I like the theory. I like what he's saying. I love it for its wonderful entertainment value. This is like real world sci-fi stuff, okay? This is like real world sci-fi. I like it very much. I like what he's saying. He's basically saying that many whistleblowers came forward and told him this. So you're basically telling me that the companies that are too, forgive me my words, incompetent, Lockheed, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, the companies that are too freaking incompetent to build a normal rocket, the NASA Space Launch System, among others. Okay, there are other rockets by ULA. The guys that are too incompetent to build us a rocket that would have been outdated even in the freaking 80s, that those same companies have managed to reverse engineer craft of extraterrestrial origin that are thousands, if not millions of years technologically more advanced than our propulsion systems. Now you tell me if you think this is likely. Now you tell me if you think that companies that struggle with building this here, solid rocket boosters, Northrop Grumman, okay, built the space shuttle solid rocket booster. Their only job was to build this rocket booster for the space launch system. You just need to make it longer. You need to stretch it out. You need to implement a few more systems, tweak it here, tweak it there. And they needed 10 years and billions of dollars to accomplish this feat. And you tell me the same guys that struggled with this here, the same guys have managed to build a TR-3B Black Manta, I don't know, cool name, cool sounding name, a triangle craft measuring 30 times 20 meters, whatever, capable of instantaneous acceleration from 0 to 10,000 kph, 20,000 kph, traveling faster than the speed of light, warping space-time around it, traveling like 100,000, 5,000 times the speed of light, who knows, being capable to travel to Alpha Centauri in a week or in 5 days or in 1 hour, who knows. That those same people who struggle to build this solid rocket booster for the Space Launch System rocket, who really struggle to do this, and we're talking conventional, very, very conventional technology here that has been known for many decades, the same company can build craft that is so advanced that it makes everything else on this earth look like child's play. And they have been doing this not since a week ago, not since 5 years ago, but they did this since the late 50s. Since the late 50s. How likely do you think that is? How likely do you think that is? I love the theory and respect for Dr. Stephen Greer for his effort to disclose, okay? For his disclosure project that non-human intelligence has been visiting Earth, has been in contact with Earth, okay? But the idea that those companies, Northrop, Raytheon, Boeing, Lockheed, are capable to reverse engineer and build these craft, I'm sorry, but no. I'm sorry, but absolutely very unlikely. Okay, I will never say 100% yes and no on this channel. Very seldomly will you hear me say 100% yes, 100% no. I like to think in probabilities. We live in a universe, in a probabilistic universe where you have different possibilities. Some things are very likely, some things are very unlikely. But the likelihood that the same companies who struggle to build a regular rocket, who are always late, always over budget, over time, inefficient, incompetent, those same companies, bam, they reverse engineer craft that is like probably 100 million years more advanced than our technology. I don't know how much more advanced it is. Is it 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years? No one knows. But probably much more than our current day technology. Those same people manage to build these insanely advanced craft. I'm sorry, but I have trouble believing this. I will assign a likelihood that this can be true to below 0.1%, 0.01%, 0.001%. Maybe not exactly zero, maybe not exactly zero. But you know what I think? I think that those whistleblowers that came forward with this so-called information that they have, that Northrop and Lockheed have managed to build insanely advanced craft, insanely advanced vehicles that are indistinguishable from extraterrestrial craft because they have been so advanced. They are so advanced. I think those whistleblowers are paid by Lockheed, by Northrop, to put out these claims, okay? To put out these claims as sort of an advertisement. As sort of an advertisement for Northrop, for Lockheed, to make Lockheed, Northrop and those companies appear much more incredible, much more insane than they actually are. What better way to make effective advertisement for your company and to I don't know, project power? For instance, you want to show China how incredible you are, right? Than to say like, hey China, hey, we have craft that are so advanced that they are indistinguishable from extraterrestrial craft. We have black triangles flying at 100,000 kilometers per second, which can just materialize over Beijing. Okay, we have 1,000 black triangles. Lockheed has 1,000 black triangles. We can materialize over Beijing if we wanted to. So better be friendly, okay? So better be friendly. That's genius. If I was Lockheed, if I was Northrop, I would pay whistleblowers to go forward and put out these ideas into the minds of some people that Lockheed and Northrop are so incredibly advanced and smart and intelligent and competent that they are able to pull this off. I don't think they can pull this off. I'm sorry. I followed what Lockheed, Northrop and so on are capable of doing. I followed them very closely, and they've, you know, there was a long time ago in the Apollo days, they did amazing stuff. But since then, they have been on a downward trajectory. They have been on a downward trajectory. They need $100 billion and 20 years to be able to finish even the most basic of engineering feats. Okay? I don't think that those companies have it in them to build us craft that are so advanced. And if we have these craft, oh, you're telling me now this is a rogue splinter group. This is a rogue group now that is acting in the shadows. If they have 1,000 or I don't know how many of these super advanced craft, like, what are they doing the entire day? Like, what are they doing, man? Where are they? Like, why do we so seldomly see them? Why are they so secretive? Where are their huge bases? Like, shouldn't we see like huge bases that they built on the moon or Mars or wherever? Oh, wait, of course it's all on the ground. Am I right? Am I right? It's all on the ground? You cannot see it, right? Of course it's on the ground. Non-detectable. How convenient. Non-detectable. How very convenient. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm open-minded, okay? On this channel, we will be open-minded. I'm open-minded to the possibility that some percentage of these drones could be a non-human intelligence interacting with Earth. Could be an extraterrestrial civilization, one or more extraterrestrial civilizations that, for whatever reason, for whatever plan or strategy that they might have come here, sending out those drones. Maybe they are planning something. I'm open-minded to this possibility, and I think that this is far more likely than the scenario where Lockheed, Northrop, and those kind of companies are able to reverse engineer extraterrestrial craft and are now 1,000, a million years more advanced than anyone else on Earth. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I'm sorry, Dr. Stephen Greer, respect, sir, respect for you, sir, but no. Those whistleblowers that came forward, they are making advertisement for Lockheed and Northrop, trying to intimidate China and adversary nations, making them think that the US has these insanely advanced black triangle craft and whatnot. You know, that's just my opinion. But I will say this, I love the theory. It's wonderful. It is a wonderful theory. And this is why the topic is so amazing. It is a wonderful theory. It is entertaining. I like it very much. But what is the likelihood? I would say below 0.01%, in my opinion. I think it is 100 times more likely. I think it's really 100 times more likely, 1,000 times, 10,000 times more likely that what we are seeing in New Jersey and other parts of the world right now is a non-human intelligence, or a part or a percentage of those craft are from a non-human intelligence, from some sort of advanced civilization. I think this is far, far, far more likely than Lockheed and the Splinter Group. No, they are not so. Don't overestimate the capabilities of those companies and of the government. Yes, they can do pretty incredible things. Yes, they are smart. But there are limits to smartness, and there are limits to what those companies can do, especially if you see them struggle building the most basic of rockets, space launch system that has been outdated already since when they began building it. It has been already outdated. Now SpaceX, for instance, has already a rocket far more capable and more advanced. Those same companies you're telling me that are failing on that technological level have managed to build us these insanely advanced, futuristic, super capable craft? I think not, friends. I think not. Okay? That's just my opinion. I hope you're not angry with me that I don't think that this theory is likely. Okay? I don't think it's likely. I'm not saying it's impossible and zero. As I said, on this channel, I will seldomly say that something has a zero probability, because I like to think in probabilities. But I think the probability for that is extremely low, far, 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 far lower, in my opinion, than that some of these drones are actually from a highly advanced extraterrestrial civilization. Tell me what you think. Am I too strict here? Like, do you think Lockheed and these companies could really reverse engineer those craft? I think, I'm sorry, but I think those companies are, very often they have shown us how incompetent they are. Especially Boeing lately. Like, let's not even talk about Boeing. Like, they are like the masters of incompetence lately. And I don't think that these companies have it in them to pull this off. This is like throwing a smartphone to chimpanzees. Okay? Like, hey, chimpanzees, I give you a smartphone. Please collect your smartest chimpanzees and figure out how the smartphone works and build your own smartphones within 10 to 15 years. You can wait 1,000 years. The chimpanzees will not be able to reverse engineer the smartphone and build smartphones of their own. You can wait 1,000 years and they won't be able to do it. Just some food for thought here, friends, just my opinion. I hope you have a nice day. I hope you have a great day wherever you are. Hopefully not too many drones in your area. Thanks for watching, friends. Thanks to all our Patreons who support this channel. You people are amazing. I wish you a great day. I wish you a wonderful day, and see you in the next video. Bye.